Okay, the topic for today, our lecture for today is how to write the 2 essays for this environmental sociology course. Before we begin this topic, I'd like you to have some quiz, 8 multiple choice questions. And I'd like you to take some minutes yourself. So it's 8 multiple choice questions, which we learned last week. It's about environmental sociological theories, part 2. So would you like to spend some minutes yourself? And then we go over together. Okay? Mm-hmm. Trying to check yourself, your knowledge, your understanding, your memory. Okay, shall we go over it together? Mm-hmm. Okay, we begin from number 8 on the back. For the last 2 weeks, I introduced several environmental sociological theories, and starting from new ecological paradigm and finished with the social constructionist perspective. And in between, I introduced also ecological Marxism, ecological modernization theory, and treadmill production, several things I mentioned, I introduced. And in the 2000, the environmental sociology is now quite diverse in theoretical orientation. So to know several environmental sociological theories, they are all aiming to explain the relationship between natural environment and human society. And some theory, they focus mainly about the economy and natural environment, because they consider among social institutions that are adopted by human society, the economy is the fundamental important factor to shape society in a certain way. So in order to know the relationship between natural environment and human society, some environmental sociologists, they focus upon the economy, the relationship between economy and natural environment, and some environmental sociologists, they focus upon the cultural thing, in what way people talk about environment, in what way they present to humans' mind, and so on. So I hope you can make differentiation among several different environmental sociological theories. The environmental sociology, when it first began in the late 60s and 70s, there's one theory, new ecological paradigm. But along the time went by, 70s, 80s, and 90s, particularly from the 90s, now environmental sociology is quite divergent in approaching the relationship between natural environment and human society. Okay, we begin with the question 8. The proponents of a social constructionist perspective criticize ecological Marxists. Which statement best describes it? Number 1, ecological Marxism cannot provide insights to solve environmental problems. Number 2, ecological Marxism is too critical so that it cannot be popular. Number 3, ecological Marxism cannot explain how capitalism works facing ecological crisis. Number 4, ecological Marxism is outmoded in explaining environmental issues in a postmodern age in which media plays a key role to create social reality. Which one is the correct answer? Hobin? Number 4. Bravo. Yeah, number 4 is the correct answer, right? Number 4. Yeah, ecological Marxism is attacked by social construction perspective, but the very best descriptions, the critics made by social construction perspective against ecological Marxists is number 4. So social construction perspective basically is influenced by postmodern thinking, and postmodern thinking is kind of relativize the absolute truth. So they do not believe there's one absolute truth. They believe there are multiple truths which people consider them as truth. So what they want to know is how certain things defined as truth among people through the agreement process. That's the thing they want to know more. So social constructionist perspective, they attack ecological Marxism is not a proper explanation in a postmodern age in which media plays quite great role. Even now, you know, what it's called, it's a false news, like a media, sometimes they create and they disseminate the news which are not fact. But then people come up to believing them as the truth. So postmodernist thinkers, they consider the analyzing media is very important because they are the kind of medium to create social reality, to get people this is reality, even if it is not correct. So now some agency, they checked all the news whether it's true or not, because sometimes the people are incapable to determine whether it is true or wrong, true or false, whether the news deliver the truth or not. So some agency now, they check all the news messages, media coverages, to determine whether it conveys the fact or not. And the options 1, 2, 3, it can be all the criticism for ecological Marxism, but these are not made by social construction perspective. Okay, basically, ecological Marxism is a modern thinking. It's a modern thinking, but then the social construction perspective is based upon postmodern thinking. Okay, so number 7, ecological Marxists criticize ecological modernization theorists. Which statement is incorrect for the reasons to it? Number 1, the ideas of ecological modernization theory present the idea of new human exemptionalism paradigm. Number 2, ecological modernization theorists are too positive with technology in solving environmental problems. Number 3, ecological modernization theory does not mention possible conflict relationships between government, civil society actors, and business people in handling with the environmental problems. Number 4, ecological modernization theorists deny the existence of environmental problems. Which one is the incorrect statement? Tanya? 4, 호빈? 지식? 나연? No, sorry. 현아? Yeah, number 4, right? Number 4. Ecological modernization theorists, they consider environmental problems exist in an objective, as an objective reality. So the statement number 4 is wrong. It's false. It's a false statement. As a criticism made by ecological Marxists against ecological modernization theorists. Ecological modernization theorists, both ecological modernization theorists and ecological Marxists, they converge in agreeing that environmental problems exist as an objective reality. But then they are diverge in saying in what way solve environmental problems. Right? They converge in one point and they diverge in other point. Interesting, right? And question 6. Which statement is incorrect for the epistemological debates among environmental sociologists in the 2000s? Number 1, far from Dunlap's vision for environmental sociology to establish it drawing upon NEP. NEP, what is the stand for? What does that stand for? New ecological paradigm, right? Environmental sociology is currently diverse in its theoretical orientations. Number 2, both ecological modernization theorists and Marxists hold social realist perspective for environmental problems. Number 3, Ecological modernization theories consider that social constructionist perspective sounds more convincing than ecological Marxism. Number 4, social constructionist perspective greatly differs to new ecological paradigm, ecological Marxism, and ecological modernization theory in that SCP, social constructionist perspective, holds agnostic view as to the existence of environmental problems. Number 5, ecological Marxists and new ecological paradigm proponents are both skeptical of the technical progress in solving environmental problems. Which one is incorrect? 순서? Which one is the incorrect statement for the epistemological debate among environmental sociologists? Number 5? 호빈, what do you think? 5? 상민?
5.
타냐? 타냐? Okay, Rachel? Number 3? Sheila? Number 3, and 현직? You're 현직, right? Sorry. What's your name behind Rachel?
Me?
Oh.
One.
원석, sorry, 원석.
Number 3.
Number 3, 현직? Sorry, 현직. No, which number?
Number 4.
Number 4? Okay. Camilla? Number 3. Okay, Oksana? Number 3. Okay, 현아? 서정? 서정. Okay, 정인? Number 3. Okay, interesting. The right answer is number 3. Because ecological modernization theorists, they hate social constructionist perspective. They hate. Because according to ecological modernization theorists, social constructionist perspective is a relatives the seriousness of environmental problems. So they are angry. Ecological Marxists and ecological modernization theorists, they both agree environmental problems exist in an absolute objective sense. But against them, contradictory to them, social constructionist perspective proponents, they somehow make distance to judge whether environmental problems exist in reality or not. They make a distance. So it's an agnostic view. They say maybe environmental problems exist, but we are not interested in saying, whether environmental problems exist in a real term or not. What we are interested in is to know the social process, in what way certain parts of natural environment are to be defined as having problems. So their research interest between social construction perspective and the other part is the ecological Marxist theorists and ecological modernist theory. They are different. Their research interest in knowing the relationship between natural environment and human society. Their research interest in is different, right? Okay, so so basically, ecological modernization theorists, they do not agree with the social constructionist perspective. They do not agree with the social constructionist perspective. Okay? The ecological modernization theory they consider, along with ecological Marxists, social constructionist perspective proponents relativize the seriousness of environmental problems. Because social constructionist perspective proponents, they say, well, maybe environmental problems exist, maybe, but we are not interested, we don't know. I mean, we are not interested in that. What we are interested in as an environmental sociologist, we want to examine in what way, in how the media frames environmental issues, that as a result, certain things certain parts of natural environment are considered by people, are agreed by people to have problems. So the approach to know the relationship between natural environment and human society, they diverge, right? Okay, number 5. Fill the following 4 blanks. There have been is omitted, sorry. There have been identified 4 epistemological groups in theoretical orientations in environmental sociology. They are Damaris, okay.
You're talking about the 4 paradigms?
Uh-huh.
Political ecology, Jevons paradox, social constructionist view, and modern ecological modernization theory?
The one I was thinking is that the first is the new ecological paradigm proponents. Uh-huh. And then the second is ecological modernization theory. The third is ecological Marxism, and 4 is a social constructionist perspective. They are the big number 4. They are the big number 4 theoretical orientations in environmental sociology in the 2000. Beginning, there's only new ecological paradigm as a theoretical guide, conceptual guide for environmental sociological research, but now the theoretical orientation has been diverse. So even if they even if they have a same research object, research subject, the way they approach it are different. And they also different vision for in what way to do environmental sociology. They have a different vision. Okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. Sorry? No. The order does not matter. You can put the ecological Marxism. You can put ecological Marxism first, or you can put the new ecological modernization theory first. The order does not matter. But I'd like you to remember there are 4 theoretical groups. There are 4 theoretical orientations in environmental sociology currently. Okay? And number 4. Okay. Which statement is incorrect for political ecology? Political ecology studies the political aspect of environmental problems. Political ecology focuses upon the first world and the third world relationships by highlighting their unequal relationships in using natural resources on a global context. Number 3. In general, the third world functions as a natural resource provider for the global companies, these being predominantly located at the first world. Number 4, those people living in the third world receive fair treatment by the countries of the first world in natural resources trade. Which one is the right answer? Number 4. Kila? Number 4? 순석? Number 4? D? Number 4? Okay. 지우? Okay, number 4. Great. Okay. Political ecology, they while emphasizing the political aspect of environmental problems, they highlight the unequal relationship they're made by the unequal distribution of power relationships between the first world and the third world. And they consider the people in the third world, particularly the Aboriginal people or primitive people or the hunting-gathering societies, because sometimes their living areas or the areas they are inherited by their ancestors. Sometimes it become the exploratory place for finding natural resources by the global companies of the first world, and they want to know the unequal relationship, the relationships particularly those the Aboriginal people or those people who live upon like a hunting-gathering society, hunting-gathering ways of lifestyle, or pastoral way of lifestyle. Sometimes their areas can be a target place for finding natural resources, and those people, those companies, dominantly located in the first world, they come to those places. In trading, in buying and in selling, in that process, political ecologists, they consider there's some unequal relationships are observed. Unequal relationships are observed. Okay, number 3. Which statement is incorrect for the Evans paradox, which I abbreviate JP. It's not, okay, JP. According to JP, the technological progress in production by which the use of natural resources is reduced leads to the reduction of consumption demands. Number 2, the idea of JP contradicts ecological modernization theory concerning technological development. Number 3, both JP and ecological Marxists are critical of technological development. Number 4, JP is the idea proposed by environmental economist Evans in the 19th century. Which one is the right answer? Which one is the true? Way? We don't have a way. Okay. 소만? 소? 시영? 여시영? Which one is the right answer for the question 3? Number 3? 서정? 정인? 선영. Okay, sorry. 선영. Number 1? Okay, 서정? 정인? sorry. Okay, 정인. Number 1? 서정? Number 1, okay. Can I the one after 서정, 정인, 지원, 지원, okay. Number 1, 지현, the one next. Number 1. Is it right? Number 1 is the right answer? No. Number 1 is a correct statement for the Evans paradox. Sorry. Okay, you are right. Okay. Sorry. Okay, you are right. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, you are right. So the paradox takes place, the reduction in using natural resources in production process that are made by technological progress, inefficiency does not lead to the reduction of natural resources because the consumption demands increase. That's why it's called a paradox. So technological progress in production process does not lead to real reduction in using natural resources because the demands from the consumer side rise, and that makes a paradox for technological progress. Okay, you are right. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Number 2. Which statement is incorrect for the social construction and perspective in environmental sociology, which I abbreviate SCP? Number 1, SCP is influenced by postmodernist thought. Number 2, SCP theorists consider that environmental sociologists should provide solution measures to environmental problems. Number 3, SCP theorists consider that nature as a cultural symbolic object can represent different things to different groups of people in society. Number 4, John Hannigan is the leading figure in SCP in environmental sociology. Number 5, according to John Hannigan, the ways that American people view wildlife transformed greatly in the late 19th century from wildlife being a threat to human life to what should be preserved with a great effort. Okay, which one is the right answer for the question 2? Kuocw? Kuocw has not come? Okay. Sewon Junior? Which one is number 1? Number 2? Number 2? Okay. Sewon Senior? Number 2? Okay. Camilla? Number 5. Oksana? Number 2. And Lo? Your name is Lo, right? Sorry? Lee. Really? Okay, really? Number 2. Kila? Number 2. Rachel? Right. Yeah, number 2 is the right answer, right? It's not their interest. It's not their, as an environmental sociology, they have a different mission. For them, it's providing solution measures to environmental problems. It's not something like environmental sociologists should do. They want to hold their identity as an environmental sociologist, being different from environmental movement organizers. So they consider like Wiley Dunlop's new ecological paradigm or Marxist thinkings. It's all somehow it's difficult to differentiate it from environmental organizations, environmental movement organizers. So John Hannigan and social construction perspective proponents, they want to make distance from environmental movement organizers, particularly the normative thinking that we should provide the solution measures to environmental problems. They consider it's not something like what environmental sociologists should do. Okay, number 1. Which statement is incorrect for the ecological modernization theory? EMT. Number 1, EMT draws upon Marxist thoughts. Number 2, EMT theorists do not consider that capitalism is the cause of environmental problems. Number 3, EMT theorists believe that capitalism can be greened through environmental reform. Number 4, EMT theory was first proposed by Dutch environmental sociologist Arthur Moll and Gert Spargeran in the 1990s. Number 5, ecological modernization theory is well known worldwide and is used as a theoretical tool for environmental policy making. This being particularly the case for many countries in Western Europe. Okay, which one is the right answer? D? Number 1. Sangmin? Number 3. Jungwon? Sonyoung? Number 1. Lee? Number 1. And Lee? Wei. Number 1. And number 1, 현직.
Number 1.
Number 1. Hobin. Are you sure? And Jiwoo. Number 1. You are right. Okay. Number 1. Okay. Yeah, the correct answer, the right answer for question 1 is number 1. Number 1. Ecological modernization theorists, they do not like ecological Marxists. They do not like ecological Marxists. Yeah. They're more like a modernist thinking, so they consider the modernization project should keep going on, should keep moving on, should be keep carrying on. But Marxist thinking, ecological Marxist thinking, they are skeptical of the modernization project because modernization project, they came with the technological progress And then ecological Marxists consider technology as part of the causing environmental problems. So according to ecological Marxists, the environmental problems cannot be solved by technological development. But against to ecological Marxists, ecological modernization theorists, they believe that environmental problems can be solved by green technology and also through some collaborative works among governments, civil actors, and business people. They can come all together for the aim of solving environmental problems. But then ecological Marxists, they say it's too positive thinking, and then they say they do not consider the contradictory interests and also some conflict interrelationships among government and business people and civil actors and workers and so on. So basically they have a different way of thinking in saying in what way society works and in what way society can do to solve environmental problems. They have different way of thinking about society operation, how society works and how society has to respond to environmental problems. Okay? Mm-hmm. So now we move to the topic for today. How to write the 2 essays for this environmental sociology course. Anybody who finds it somehow confusing about the environmental sociological theories, you can come to me personally, individually, and you can, among Korean students, you can ask me in Korean language, because I want you to move along, being clearly understanding of the environmental sociological theories. Okay, after the class, if you do not understand the theories clearly, just come to me and then ask. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the topic for today: how to write the 2 essays for this environmental sociology course. I will explain what essay means, and then I move on. To write an essay, you have to step on research process. You have to step on step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. You have to make a step by step. Okay. To write an essay, you cannot do just one day like cramping into. You cannot do that. You have to make a step by step. Having enough time, to think, to read, and to write, and to rewrite, to rewrite, to rewrite. If you rewrite many times, that makes your essay sound very clear and sounds very beautiful or scientifically very logical and so on. Anyway, I mentioned how to step on research process to write the essay, and then I mentioned editing format for our the 2 essays using Microsoft Word program. Okay? Mm-hmm. So what does essay mean? Essay in original, it's a French. So in French, it's a l'essai, or as a noun, it's a l'essai, and as a verb, it's essayer, right? I'm not quite sure. There should be the accent, like the above the E, there should be some, is it? No? Okay, so as a noun in French, l'essai, and as a verb, it's essayer, so that means to try, right? But in an academic word, essay means a short research paper, and normally the paper is less than 5,000 words. So what does essay mean? You try having your own ideas through research and write them under 5,000 words. Okay? Mm-hmm. So essay means in an academic word, it's a short research paper, so including normally 5,000 words. The journal article normally between 7,000, 8,000 words, and sometimes it goes over 10,000 words. But if you write the essay, it's a short paper, and normally it's 5,000 words. So the one essay you write, it's 500 words, and the another one is 3,000 words, right? Okay. So now I talk about how to step on research process. The first, you have to select research topic, what you are interested in, what you want to write about. You have to choose a research topic, right? But for this environmental sociology course, I already prepared research topics, So for you, not much options to choose. I just gave 3 options. Right? I already gave you 3 options. So you have to choose just one, which one best interests you. So normally to write an essay, to write a research paper, you have to choose research topic. And then the second part is very important. You have to identify what are going to be your research questions. What are going to be your research questions? The second part is very, very important. If you hold wrong research questions, your whole research process going wrong way, in a wrong direction. But so you have to be guided. You have to be guided through research process and to identify your research questions. And through research process, and then you do the research for the topic to answer the research questions. And then you write. Research outcomes through what you have found out for the research questions. You write down, okay? And then you publish. You publish in a journal. You publish in a you publish on a web. You publish so other people can read your research findings, your research outcomes, right? Other people can read your research findings that going to responding to your research questions that you set up in the beginning phase of the research process. And it becomes bibliography or reference to other people who want to write about the same topic, but then maybe different questions. Your writing, once published, your writing becomes bibliography or reference, right? And also when you write an article, research paper, or an essay, you probably have a reference to other person's writing, right? And your writing also becomes bibliography or reference to other people when they're going through this research process, like selecting research topic and then identifying research questions and doing research for the topic and writing research outcomes and then publish your research outcomes. So any person who want to write about certain things in a scientific way, in a logical way, they step on these 5 process. And normally it takes time, right? You cannot step on this process just 1 month, or it takes time, right? Maybe sometimes 6 months, maybe 1 year. Maybe if you want to some for your master degree or doctoral degree or whatever degree. When you step on this research process, it takes time. Particularly, it takes time to write. It takes a longer time than doing research and identifying research questions and selecting research topic. Okay, so in what way you can select research subject, research topic, and research questions? Normally, you can consider what kind of things that are often discussed. And sometimes what kind of things that are never discussed. So if you explore this part and write something, you can be a front. Be a explorer. You are the very first person to write on the topic that has never been talked about, right? And sometimes you can write about topic that has been quite often discussed, but then maybe it's somehow like many people talk about the same topic, but then maybe it's quite debated among many people, quite debated. So you can choose either the subject that are discussed often, by several people, And okay, also you can identify topics that are never discussed, so that you are the very first person to have opinions, to provide your ideas to this never discussed topic. And anyway, whatever your topics are, once you come through the research process, and you come up with the writing something that should be contribute to the relevant topics for other people who later on research the same thing as you. Okay. Mm-hmm. But then for this environmental sociology course, there are already pre-set up topics. One is summarizing article, and the other is choosing one environmental sociology topic and to write on. Okay. Mm-hmm. So for summarizing the article, I would say you can. I already put the question, right? I already put the question to guide your writing for summarizing the environmental sociology, a new paradigm article. I already put the question, right? The first question is, what are the main arguments of the authors? And the second is, what are the logical bases to support their arguments? So these two questions should be your title in the main body of the text. So I'll show you. So your paper, your summarizing essay should look this way. So you put the Environmental Sociology 2017 and / Korea University and your name, Honggil-dong, Sociology department and your student number and submission date 10th of May 2017, right? 10th of May 2017. Okay, and then you put summary essay, Environmental Sociology, a New Paradigm by William Catton and Riley Dunlap. So these two questions I already gave you to guide your summarizing work. This should be the title of the summary essay. Okay? Understand? Right? Okay, these two should be the title of the main body of your text. Okay, when summarizing this article, you summarize this article by responding to these questions. The first question is, what are the main arguments of the authors? So you type up, the Catton and Dunlap try to argue, blah 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 blah, so on so on so on. And the second question, they will guide you to summarize this article. What are the logical bases to support their arguments? What are the logical bases to support their arguments? So by summarizing this article, you put these two questions as a title for your summary essay. Difficult? Okay, because your face becomes like very serious. So these two questions should be the titles of your text. Okay? Mm-hmm. So the first one is, what are the main arguments of the authors? So in summarizing this article, you first respond to this question. And then you answer it, you respond to the second question, what are the logical bases to support the argument? Okay, so this article is a classic. It's a classic to environmental sociology because this article is the very first one to argue for the necessity that we need a new sociology, which Wiley Dunlap and William Catton named environmental sociology. So it's the very kind of frontier, pioneering work in environmental sociology that opened up arguing for new sociology, which is environmental sociology. So going through, if you know this article well, you can feel how environmental sociology began in the beginning, and then another the theoretical orientation somehow all respond to this article, this argument made by Catton and Wiley Dunlap. So you have to check all the time how many words you have written. So if you go to down the bottom of the bar, it says you have written 52 words, right? You have written so far 52 words. And how many words you have to write for the summary essay? Yeah, 500 words. 500 words. So when you come to see the number of words 500, and that's the time you have to finish. Okay, that's the time you have to finish. And don't forget that you have to put these two questions as the subtitle in your main body text. Okay? So I ask you to have a look at the article in the course book at the back. The back. Sure. Okay. So you read. Can I have? Okay. Thank you. You read the environmental sociology, a new paradigm from the beginning to the end, and then probably you come up with a very strong feeling to write something about this article. But then to write the article about this, particularly to summarize this article, you have to put these two questions first, and then you summarize this article by the ways of responding to these two questions. Okay. So the number of words should be 500 words. If you write down too little, let's say like 100, 200, that probably cause you to take off some scores. The total score is not that great. I'm just 5. But then, if you want to have good scores, you have to follow the rules, and then 500 words you have to write. So these are the Times New Roman. The font type is the Times New Roman, and normally Times New Roman are used in an academic world to write. To write a research paper. So it's a Times New Roman, and you put the bold for the title, and 13 points. For the title, you put the bold, and then 13 points. And for the main body text, you use 12 points. And then you make a double spaced. So I'll show you. These already make a double spaced. If you go to paragraph, you see in Korean it's a 두 줄, so it makes a double spaced. So if the text is made in double spaced, it's much easier for a reader to follow the content. So make sure that your main body should be typed in double spaced. So you go to the 두 줄. It means double spaced. Okay? Understand? And this one is 13 points. 13 points and Times New Roman. And here is 12 points. Times New Roman, you goes down, 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 down. Oh, it's missing?
Right there. Up.
Ah, okay, here. So here's main body text should be typed in Times Roman and 12 points. And the title is a 13 point Times New Roman and bold typed. And it should be typed also double spaced. Double spaced. Okay? 선영, clear?
So we're not writing intros or conclusions, but just two bodies for questioning.
Sure, okay, sure. You just respond to these two questions, okay? So I want to see how you guys are different in responding to this question in summarizing the same article, okay? Am I making it clear? Okay. So, in summarizing article, I would do, so probably your article, when make the sentences double spaced, probably it becomes like 2 pages. It probably becomes 2 pages. And to summarize the article, Environmental Sociology, A New Paradigm, I can give you idea, I can give you an advice. You can read the abstract of the article, because abstract is normally the present, the key arguments of the article, in 200 or 150 words, 200 words. So you can be hinted, you can have a snapshot view with the abstract. Because in the abstract, there's all the all the essence, all the key point of an article should be put in abstract. So you can read the abstract first, and then you can go through the whole the paper. But remember, in summarizing the article, you should not copy the whole sentence in the paper. Okay? When you summarize the article, you should avoid the temptation to copy whole the sentence in the article, in the paper. But rather you rephrase sentences to present your ideas in your own words. So it's a kind of exercise to rephrase sentences that you are attempting to copy. So rather than copying the sentences, automatically into putting your essay, you try to rephrase the sentence that you are attempting to copy. And by the way, you can present your ideas in your own way. Sangmin?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Does that make you clear? Clear? Okay. So I'm telling you that the editing thing, and another thing, how to write the summary essay. Because sometimes students, they just copy the sentence, sentence beginning and middle, and that's not the good way. That's not the good way to summarize. So I encourage you to rephrase the sentences that you want to write down in your own words. So 500 words, and then I ask you to print the double pages, like the always I do. Double pages, So let me go back to the the Microsoft Word document again. So if you do all the work, so you begin this way. So you put the Environmental Sociology 2017 Korea University and your name, your affiliation, which department you belong to, and your student number, and which date you submit. It's the date, the fixed is the 10th of May. So you have to bring your essay after the Buddha's birthday. So you have a good holiday, and then when you come back, you have to bring this 500-word summarizing essay, summary essay, right? Okay, and then you put this summary essay, Environmental Sociology, A New Paradigm by William Catton, and when you all finished the summarized this article, you probably 2 pages, and then you print them. You print them in a double page, in a double page, okay? Any questions for this summary essay? Any questions for this summary essay? So don't forget that these 2 questions should be the title, should be the headings of the essay, right? These 2 questions should be the being the titles, the subtitles in the text, and they guide you to summarize this article. Questions for the summary essay? So 500 words, right? So trying to make it perfect with the number of words. But if you write down just 100, 200, that's not enough. So maybe you can go over like a 550, but not more than 550, but just trying to finish within 500 words. And to write in double spaced. And that gives me much comfort to read your summary essay, all of your essays. Any question? 정인, 서정, 인정. Huh? No question. Okay. 성원? No. 상민? 상민 is over there, and 정인. I'm trying to memorize your names, and sometimes you're all mixed up, You are 성원. 상원. 선영. Okay. 선영. Any question?
So what if the answers to question 1 and 2 are not really separated, like they go hand in hand? How should I then write the summary?
No, I don't understand.
So what if the answers to question 1 and 2 sort of go hand in hand? So what if it's not totally separated? What if it's not like clear cut, like 1 and 2?
You mean that the contents for 2 questions are all connected?
Yeah, what if they are?
You should be okay. I mean, you should be okay. But then these are the clearly the different question, right? These are the clearly different question. But I would doubt that the questions are the response to these 2 questions would be similar to each other, because these are clearly 2 different questions. 시영, do you have a question for the summary essay? No? 서정? Okay. So you have to focus upon the question, what is asking you, what this question asking you, and then you find your answers. That's the way of summarizing this article. But then Sonyoung's question, what if the contents, the response for the question 1 and question 2 are somehow connected to each other? Maybe it can happen, but then once again I say these 2 are totally different questions, and I doubt that they can happen. Lina, you don't have any questions? Okay. You want me to put this in a Blackboard? This Microsoft document, you want me to put in the Blackboard? Okay. How many of you did you read the PDF, the the lecture content I uploaded for the first part of the environmental social theory. Have you noticed that? I uploaded already, you know. Okay. You want me to upload this up on the blackboard? Okay, I'll do. Jihan, any question for the summary essay? Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry. Instead of here, listening Jihan's answer. Distribution of words. Distribution of 500 words for the first question and the second question. Right? That's another important issue. Don't you think? How to distribute number of words, the 500 words for the question 1 and question 2. So I just would say not too much. Let's say like you just write down 100 or 50, but then too many, you know, the second question. Rather than you just try to distribute equally, like a 200 or 300 or. Does that make sense? What I'm saying, in responding to these two questions, you're trying to distribute your 500 words somehow rather equally to the two questions. Okay? Okay, let's have a break, 15 minutes. We begin 12 o'clock. Okay, let's move to the second essay. I already provided the research topic, which I consider environmental sociological research topic. And then last week I made some survey, and I found out that the three research topics are equally interested by all of you. And then the number 3 received great interest, a lot more interest, because last week 2 persons were not able to respond, but out of 32, the total number of attendees for this course is 34. When we made a survey last week, 2 persons were not able to respond, and then 14 students, they say they are interested in writing on understanding environmental risk perceptions among South Koreans. Oh, I have to put mine. And today, when during the break time, when I approached the 2 students who were not able to respond to the survey last week, they also mentioned on the topic 3 they are interested to write about. So it becomes 1634 and 1134 and 734. So Damaris and Hyuna and Hobin, Siyoung, Dee, Tanya, Wonsuk, they showed interest in writing the topic 1. Understanding my everyday life in an environmental sociological perspective. And then the second topic, how to organize everyday life in an environmentally friendly way. Tang is a Tang and Lee, Oksana, Camilla, Sunsok, Hijin, Hui and Killa, Rachel and Wonyoung, Sangmin. They showed interest in the topic too, the second topic. And Jongin, Sonyoung, May, Fong, Jishik, Hyunjik, and Sewon, Sejong, Nayeon, Jiwoo, and Lina, and Sewon, and Jiwan, Jihyun, and Jinyoung, and Wei. They showed interest in writing the understanding environmental risk perceptions among South Koreans. Okay, so the second topic has a lot more words than the first summary essay, which is 3,000 words, right? 3,000 words. So to do research, you have to do some literature review, right? Literature review. So literature review, what is literature? Literature is those bibliography or references that are already published in in a journal or in somewhere. So you have to look for the relevant journal articles or relevant information. So you visit library or you visit the website, like a Google Scholar or ResearchGate, so on, so on. There are many academic platforms that you can visit to find out relevant information about your research work. So you already decide which topic you write on. But so now you have to do literature review. You have to look for relevant articles, relevant bibliographies, relevant information to construct your ideas for the topic you choose, right? So this work is different from the first one. First one is somehow passively involved, in writing, But this one is you have to be actively involved in. You have to do literature review, and you have to organize your ideas, and you have to put them in 3,000 words. 3,000 words. Okay. So firstly, you have to do some research. So maybe you want to Google, because Google is among the powerful search engine. Maybe you want to type up, like if you choose the choking up with the second essay, too much pressure already, psychological pressure. Okay, if you choose number one, the first topic. Okay, this one is the Tamari's, the suggestion, Tamari's choices. She chose the first one is understanding my everyday life in an environmental social perspective, and she chose eyeglasses and smartphones and shoes. Is that correct? Are they correct? Okay. So my question is that how do they relate you to natural environment? Because these are the manufactured form of nature, right? Manufactured form of nature. When I say manufactured forms of nature, because normally all the raw materials, all the beginnings, they come from nature. Whatever we wear, whatever we, wear, put on, whatever we eat, whatever we write on, all the beginnings come from nature, right? As a raw material. So you have to look for, you have to search, like the hat you are wearing, what are made of, you have to search for, right? The relevant information. Understand? Mm-hmm. So you choose first what manufactured goods you use on an everyday basis. If you choose like a laptop, or if you choose like a hair rinse or shampoo, or like a body soap, they are all made of natural materials. So you have to research. You have to look for some relevant information, and then you have to also find out some articles, academic articles. They can make your essay somehow like an academic flavor. Okay, so I would like to become aware of your everyday life. Somehow we're living in a city setting, in an urban area. And we're somehow like far from nature, far from wildlife, or far from the rural area or the coastal area. We're just living in an urban setting. And we somehow consider nature is far from us, but then if we reflect upon those manufactured forms of nature, we can more have a close thinking that the way that our lives relate to natural environment, right? Because in a contemporary modern society, the way, particularly if we're living in an urban area, if we live in a city, the way you experience with nature is very limited. It's very limited, right? But then if you consider your everyday things, particularly those consumer products you use in relation to natural environment. You might have more imagination that, how modern contemporary world relates to natural environment. Even if we are far from or cut off from natural settings, if you are living in an urban area. Because if you do not make some effort to imagine that kind of things, it's difficult that in what way our life relates to natural environment, So I suggest this topic to encourage you to have some environmental social imagination, how our everyday life, by which we use several kinds of consumer products, and you imagine you to do some research, the raw materials for the consumer products we use on an everyday basis. You can have some imagination how modern contemporary world are related to natural environment. So we have 1,000 manufactured goods, right? We use on an everyday basis. We have 1,000 consumer goods we use on an everyday basis. But you should select 3 things that you open or you are stuck with on an everyday basis. You cannot move along with these products. Probably there are some, You cannot move along with some products that you organize your everyday life. So I suggest this kind of research questions, research ideas, to know how to have some environmental social imagination, how modern life relates to natural environment through the consumer products we use on an everyday basis. So I suggest these research ideas. The first one, you can identify raw materials for them, and these are coming all from nature. So, for example, eyeglasses, you have to look for information, right? Like the specific eyeglasses you are wearing, or in general, eyeglasses, what are made from. You have to do some research, right? You can ask Google, You can maybe that's the very quick, easy. I'm not quite sure they will have all the answers. But anyway, what I'm saying, you have to do some research on your own. You have to spend time. You have to make a lot of imaginations, and where to go to find the relevant information for your research, and so on, right? And when you're getting through the research process, if you come through any difficulty, you just come to me and ask in what way get going through the difficulty. Mm-hmm. If you cannot find the relevant information for your research topic, research subject, you just come to me anytime and then ask. We can find the solution together, where to look for, where to go, to find the relevant and to find the correct information for the topics, for the ones you select. So what I'm emphasizing now, you have to do some research, okay? You have to do some research. Mm-hmm. Nothing is just up there to waiting for you. You have to go and you have to look for, and you have to pick them up and you have to write them down. Okay? Okay. So maybe you can refer to some books. And you can look for some journal articles. You can ask Google, or you can ask Daum or Naver, whatever, Mm-hmm. And to choose for those of you who choose this topic, and to select the specific manufactured goods, I ask you to choose those products that you use every day, and that interest you most. And through this, making benefit of using this opportunity to prepare an essay. And next time you become more knowledgeable, about how your everyday life relates to natural environment. Okay? Because we only experience manufactured forms of nature. It's quite difficult to experience nature in a nature form. So, and also I can suggest you can identify in what ways they turn to manufactured form. So, let's say like eyeglasses made of plastic. Is it made of plastic? Or somewhere, anyway. No, plastic is not a natural form, right? They probably the more natural form, and then they're putting into the heat, and then it turns to be plastic somehow. Anyway, you identify the process, the raw material in a natural form, and turn to be a manufactured product. You identify the process, right? Mm-hmm. And then you can also identify in what ways they treated at the end of a consumption cycle. So you stop using your eyeglass and you throw them away. And when you throw them in a bin, in waste bin, in what way they are treated? So in terms of waste treatment, so you can research, Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Right? So, and you can come up with other research ideas for this topic. I only suggest 3 research ideas, and you can have different research ideas for to do this essay. Okay? Mm-hmm. I only suggest 3 research ideas, but you can come up your own research ideas than these 3. Okay, so my major question is how do they relate you to natural environment? And knowing this, we can have a better understanding of how our everyday life in a contemporary modern society relate to natural environment. Okay. And the second one is how to organize your everyday life in an environmentally friendly way. It's the second popular topic among you. The 12 person, 11 person chose this topic. You consider lifestyle patterns. In what way you organize your everyday life. You consider it an environmentally friendly way. So let's say like riding a bicycle to work. Is that possible in Seoul? You can make this kind of lifestyle, riding a bicycle to work in Seoul. Anyone? In Paris, I saw many people riding bicycle to work. So you can recommend some behavioral patterns to organize your everyday life. Like if you are employed, you have to choose which mode of transportation to work and then to home. You have to choose, right? So most of people living in Seoul, they choose metro. They choose metro to moving from home to work, from work to home. Anybody among you? Anyone of you to work, to take a walk to the university? Okay. From where? From the dormitory? Just up till so the same dormitory. Okay. How long does it take?
Maybe about 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Okay. Great. Mm-hmm. Everybody lives in the same dormitory. They all take a walk to the university.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no other way.
Sorry?
There's no other way.
There's no other. That's the only option available.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So, what about any other person than Killa and then Damaris? They're all living in the same dormitory, just right up there, and taking 15 minutes. GC, how do you come to the university? By metro. Okay, by metro. Okay. And Yeona? By bus. And Seonyong? By metro. Okay. Mm-hmm. Sewon Junior? Metro? Okay. Mm-hmm. Most of them they use, and then the metro system in Seoul is just super good, super nice and very good. Anyway, so these are the research ideas to do the second topic. So you think about how to organize your everyday life, which you consider environmentally friendly. Environmentally friendly. So riding a bicycle to work, is that environmentally friendly? Is it? Why? Sorry?
There's no emissions from it.
There's no emission because you push. There's no energy power necessary to operate in a bicycle, because your muscles needed to push your bicycle to moving. But all other transportation modes, they all need the energy power, and through the emission process, there's some bad chemical compounds, emitting out and so on. Okay, so we consider this is environmentally friendly in terms of no impact upon natural environment, no negative impact upon natural environment, right? But I can ask, is that possible? Is that possible to living in Seoul? To living in Seoul, is that possible to organize your everyday life for your commuting behavior from home to work and back from work to back home? Is that possible living in Seoul? Sun-Seok, what do you think? Do you consider it can be a major patterns amongst Seoulites, among people living in Seoul? Because let's say living in Seoul like 10 million or 9 million, or you can consider just adult population who are employed, like let's say half of them, like 4 million or 5 million. Is that it can be a dominant way of organizing the commuting behavior among Seoul, the people living in Seoul? Riding a bicycle to work. Impossible. I think it's impossible, right? Living in basically too many people in a very small area. For me, it's impossible. And too many cars on the road and dangerous. You have to, take your risk. Your life. For me, it's impossible. But some cities, like especially in European cities, it is possible. Like Amsterdam, very pleasant. So you have to think about why some cities it's a possible option to change, to organize your everyday lifestyle pattern to be environmental friendly. But some cities are impossible. We have to think about. Okay. Mm-hmm. And also, I suggest you using energy-saving household devices. Energy-saving, because in a household, everything that you use, it's all related to energy using. Whatever is a refrigerator or computer or whatever you use in a household setting. Okay, think about you go home and you turn on. You turn on your room. Everything being turned on, they all use energy power, right? So the issue of reducing energy power is important on a household basis. So I brought up with this idea using energy-saving household devices. So you can make some smart design for the household goods. Normally we call them white goods. Microwaves and refrigerators or TV, or normally they are white colors. That's why they call it white goods. So we can think about how can we can reduce the energy power in a household basis, or sometimes in a campus setting. How can you save? This kind of lighting can save energy. Look at the light. This kind of lighting can save the energy. Hobin? Maybe not. Killa?
The LED kind of light can use energy.
So it's not LED. Not? It is not.
I think you can have a special light bulb showers, they usually look like little swirly things, not
Ah,
like
the
flower.
plate.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but normally it's that expensive compared to this kind of type.
It is a little bit, but it saves you in like your power bill in the
Sure.
long run, so it doesn't really matter.
In the long run, okay. Yeah, okay. So, and what else? Okay, so we have to think about in what way you can, in an everyday life, because everything being turned on in a contemporary modern world, everything being turned on, right? Your computer, your laptop, your smartphone, whatever. It's all being turned on, and they use energy power. They need energy power to operate properly. So the issue how to reduce energy power is important, right? So to produce those goods, the household goods, that can save energy a lot, and that will give you both the reducing your energy bill, and also to give you a good feeling that you feel like organize your everyday life in an environmental friendly way. And then third lifestyle pattern, I say reducing the amount of water for showering. Okay. Most of people living in an urban area, they take shower a lot, right? They take shower a lot compared to the people in rural mountain area. The people living in urban area, they take shower a lot more. Some people they take showers 2 times per day, every day. Yeah. Some people every 2 or 3 days, every 2 or 3 times per week. It's all about modern thinking, being hygienic, being clean, you know, that's part of modern thinking. So, and it's sometimes you become like a habit that you take shower every day, 2 times. It's difficult to change because it's already fixed with your body and your psychology to organize your everyday life. It's kind of a ritual thing, you know. But then how to reduce the amount of water for showering? In what way you can reduce the amount of water for showering? You just can enjoy it 2 times per day, you know. But how can reduce the amount of water for showering? How?
Reduce the length of your shower.
Length of time?
Yeah.
Okay, like 5 minutes or...
Yeah, in Australia, when there's a drought, we can only have 4-minute showers.
And then stop the water just being stopped.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's really regulated that much, but some people have like shower heads that will stop after a while, but it's mainly just like a moral thing.
Okay. So voluntary just stopped, you know, after 5 minutes showering because the drought issue in Australia is important. Lack of water, you know. So lack of water and cannot feed the animals like cows, and right. Maybe you can use the shower tap. There's somehow the water saving devices. You can make that way. Can you? Me, I'm very interested in that kind of stuff, you know. I'm very interested in that kind of stuff. Because if your psychology does allow yourself to take a shorter shower, but then the preset of device somehow force you to reduce the amount of water. So you can still enjoy 2 times shower per day, but then the device, the shower tap, somehow the reduce amount of showering, the water coming from the tap. Have you come across that kind of the shower tap? Shower tap, is that the correct expression?
I think so.
Okay, thank you. Have you come across that kind of thing? So I suggest, so it's a kind of idea how to organize your everyday life in an environmentally friendly, right? You can have an idea, right? Even if it cannot be real, it cannot happen in a real life, but you can have an idea. It's an idea, you are free to have any kind of ideas, right? Am I right? Okay, so even if it cannot happen in a real life because there are some structural constraints, but then as an agency to construct being a member of society, you can have some ideas, right? And those ideas being collective, and then to make a big movement, and you can push the structural constraint, and then the idea can turn into in a real life. Right. Okay. So I suggested these three the specific lifestyle patterns that you can organize in an everyday life. So there can be other behavioral patterns apart from these three, right? So first, these are research ideas I suggest to you, to those people who chose this second topic. You explain why you consider the three lifestyle patterns are environmentally friendly behaviors. We have to first mention why these three behaviors are environmentally friendly behaviors. You have to mention the why. Are these all the environmentally friendly behavior patterns? Right? And the second one is that you can also examine whether the three behavior patterns to organize your life in an environment friendly, whether they can happen across the majority of the population, whether the majority of population in Korea, in South Korea, or in Australia, or in the United States, or in Hong Kong, or in China, thinking about the country you come from, whether these lifestyle patterns, these specific behaviors, it can be a dominant behavior that coming all across the majority of people, whether it can be possible or not. So you examine if it is possible, why it is possible. If it is not possible, why you consider it is not possible. And if it is not possible, you can suggest in what way these behaviors to be possible, all coming across the different segments of population in a society, whether it's in the United States, or in South Korea, or in Hong Kong, in China, or okay. So you can have all many great ideas. Everything begins ideas, you know. Everything begins ideas, but then you make convince other people to get your ideas coming across to get them understood. So, and then it becomes individual idea becomes a collective idea, and then it becomes like a kind of social wave, you know, like organizing their everyday life in an environmental friendly. It's becoming like a new way of living in the 21st century, you know. So you examine whether this specific lifestyle pattern, this specific behavior pattern, is possible or not. Okay, apart from me, okay, I choose to live this way, but then what about other people? You can come through to other people. You can convince other people to follow my lifestyle decision to be an environmental friendly way. So, okay, if so, why you consider that way, and if not, why it is not, and then if not, in what way you can make that to take place in a real life. Okay, these three are my research ideas. I suggest my research ideas, but you can have some other more thousand options to research for the second topic, right? So, but then my key research question is, what can be innovative ways to green our everyday behavior patterns? What can be innovative ways, you know, to green our everyday behavior patterns? Okay. So sometimes one's individual voluntary behavior can come across the barrier. Let's say, even if you want to take your ride to work, it's very dangerous in the road. And that's a kind of structural constraint you come across. You're stuck, you know, so you have to stop. You have to stop. Even if you want to take a bike, to lead, to organize your everyday life in an environmental friendly, you want to contribute to the air quality of Seoul, because sometimes, many times, the air quality of Seoul is horrible, and so you want to contribute. But then the road situation is very dangerous, But in what way you can push, like a government, local government, city government, to change the situation in road in Seoul? So, like in Amsterdam or in Paris, you can, What about in New York? You can take a ride to work, right? Yeah. In New York, it's the road system. It's very like a straight, everywhere it's just straight, right? So you have never worried about being lost. It's very easy to find, Yeah, when you go to Manhattan is an island, like a downtown and middle town and uptown. It's just the road is just very direct. So for me, the taxi driver in New York, they find that their work very, very easy to do, because it's very easy to find the certain place, and also very good to walk, but in the night somehow dangerous, Anyway, Paris, they have public bicycles. So you go to certain places and the bicycles are parked many places in Paris. So you pay and you take a ride and you park, The public bicycle parking system, in Paris. And quite safe to ride on. I never tried it because personally, I don't know how to ride a bicycle. But I felt that way. It's safe to ride a bicycle in Paris. What about Pennsylvania?
Where I live, to ride to work on a bicycle, or just to ride a bicycle?
To walk.
To walk?
Uh-huh.
To my job. Where I live, it's not very plausible, because it would take me over an hour just to walk to my job.
Okay, too long, right?
Driving would be better.
Okay, yeah. Too long. Taking 1 hour on a bicycle too long, especially in the morning,
Yeah,
Sometimes you are still sleepy, What about Beijing, Dee?
We have many public bicycles in Beijing, but I don't think it's a good way. It's too crowded and it will be dangerous if you ride on.
Too crowded, okay. Okay, so you think about several lifestyle patterns and where they can happen in a real life. And if it's not, in what way you can push the policymakers, those people those powerful people who are making a policy, in what way you can push them to make it real, to organize your everyday life in an environmental friendly way. Okay? And then third is understanding environmental risk perceptions. These three specific choices I got from Seonyang. Okay, the Seonyang choice. So Seonyang wanted to research earthquake in Gyeongju in 2016 and landslide in Womyeonsan in 2011. And fine dust in Seoul in 2016. She didn't specify which year, but I just put the 2016. Okay. So these are the kind of the major environmental risks that we have experienced in South Korea. And what you have to do is, in what way South Koreans talk about these specific natural disasters. Why they are called disasters, like earthquake or the landslide or fine dust. Sometimes they're called natural disasters. Why they called disaster? They take many people's lives, right? They take many people's lives, and then they come quite suddenly, not expected. We are not prepared well, So you choose which social media you want to examine, whether it's a Facebook, or whether it's a Twitter, or whether it's an online newspaper, which social media you want to choose. Right? Okay, you have to decide which social media you want to examine. You want to the offline, the printed, the newspapers like 중앙일보, 조선일보, 동아일보. You have to choose which one, which social media you want to examine. Not too many, maybe 2 or 3, not too many. And you identified in what ways people talk about these specific, the real natural disaster events which have taken place for the past 10 years. Okay, people probably talk about blah 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 blah, so many things, but then you categorize their talkings, talkings into certain types. So you identify in what way those talkings have some common the common ideas that coming through the people. So you identify, so you decide certain examination categories. For example, like attitudes toward government in handling the disasters, or psychology after side effects. Even if you are not a victims of the disasters, you probably have a certain psychology after the side effects from the specific natural events, the violent behaviors in nature. And what to do. Probably also people talk about what to do with these kind of natural disasters. So you choose, you decide what you are going to examine, what you are going to analyze. So maybe you have some 2 or 3 examination categories, and then you look into social media you have chosen to examine, right? Does that make clear? Does that make clear? Okay. So you can come up with the idea in what way among South Korean mind those natural disasters are represented among a South Korean's mind. Mm-hmm. So how do South Koreans talk about these specific natural disastrous events? So you choose social media first. Which social media are you examining? For example, if you decide to choose, examine like 3 major newspapers, like 조선일보, 중앙일보, 동아일보, these are the 3 major newspapers published in South Korea. Why they are the 3 major? Why they are the 3 major newspapers in South Korea? 호빈? Why we call them, they are the 3 major newspapers in South Korea? 호빈, do you have an idea? 서정? 유서정? 서정. 정인, okay.
Maybe they are conservative.
Sorry?
They are conservative. They have the conservative.
Yes, they are quite conservative. But then, apart from their political ideology expressed in the media contents, they are considered the 3 major newspapers in Korea. 서정? 유서정, right? Ha ha ha. Finally, I got it. Do you have any idea why they are called 3 major? 현직? 원서. Okay.
They have longest term, sold the most, they publish the most.
Yes. In terms of the number of people to read those 3 papers, they are the major. They are covering the majority of South Korean people. in terms of membership, in terms of readership, you see in terms of the publication, 조선일보 is a number one. That means a lot more. Most of people, greatest number of South Korean people read 조선일보, and then followed by 동아일보 and 중앙일보. In terms of readership, the number of readership, how many readers, how many South Korean readers read a specific newspaper? In terms of that, they are considered three major newspapers, right? So that means they are powerful in organized in creating certain social reality, because according to social construction perspective, media people, they are in a postmodern age, they are powerful people to construct social reality. Right, like 한겨레, 경향, they are also powerful, but compare in terms of the numbers of readers, there are less numbers of readers are read by reader 한겨레 or 경향 compared to the 조선, 동아, 중앙. Okay? So you choose which one. Maybe you compare 경향신문 or 조선일보, because 경향 and 한겨레 is considered left wing or the progressive political ideology. The expressed the progressive political ideology compared to the conservative political ideology that are held by 조선, 중앙, 동아. So you can compare the left-wing newspaper and right-wing newspaper. In what way they are different to talk about the specific natural disasters. Am I right? Okay, so you have to choose first which social media, whether it's a offline newspaper, which are powerful major the newspaper media, or the broadcasting media, KBS or MBC or Omai News or JTBC, you know. Or you choose Facebook or Twitter. What else? Or internet news. They do not have a paper, published paper, but they only upload their news on the online. It's called internet news, right? Am I right? And also some magazines. So you have to choose which one you want to examine, and you have to decide the examination categories. What to examine? So these are my suggestions for research. So you come with some other research ideas than proposed by me in here. Okay, so in writing a research paper, which is much bigger than the summarizing the essay, and you put up all things you find out through research. You know, you put up all things you find out through research, but then you present them. You have to present them in an organized way, and to be organized way, you following the editing format which already I provide. So you have to organize your idea. So basically, you put up all the ideas coming from. You find it from research process, but to organize your idea, your research findings, you come up with the research. You can put some subtitle in a paper. So, for example, you can put the research aim to begin with your writing. Research aim or introduction. You have to mention these kind of things. What you aim, what you are going to do with the research topic you prepare, and what you target to find out, why they are important to know, and then the research scopes, you know, by mentioning 3 manufactured goods to research, also 3 lifestyle patterns to research, and 3 the specific natural disasters events. So you have to mention the research scopes in the beginning part. Okay? And then followed by the main part. So you have to write down what you have found out. And for the first topic, you put the subtitle like the case of eyeglasses, the case of smartphones, and the case of shoes. And you put up all things in here in an organized way, what you have found out through research, for in what way they relate to natural environment, to make an example for the first research topic. And then you conclude, your research topic. Okay, so the same editing format, and don't forget you make your writing in a double-spaced. And also I want to mention this, space for locating your text. You just use the MS Word default setting, which means when you open the what I'm saying, default setting for locating your, you go to Microsoft Word and you open it, and this is called the default setting. So for making space, the top, bottom, and left, right, you just use the default setting, right? You don't make any change to the space editing. So you just use the space that is already made by the default setting of Microsoft Word program. Okay? And then the second essay, if you're writing all the 3,000 words, and to make it double-spaced, and to follow the 12 points for writing the main body, and 13 points for the subtitle and heading, it becomes like 11 pages. I show you your how can I look the bigger? Top and bottom and left and right, right? And when you begin this sentence, you push pushing a space bar. So it should be look like this. But the contents is nothing about the topic for the first one. I took it from my own writing to just show how it looks like when you finish all the writing, particularly when you consider editing format, which already mentioned in the teaching outline. So again, you put the Environmental Sociology 2017 Korea University and your name, your affiliation, student number, and submission date. And 31st May 2017, that's the submission date, okay? So you bring, when you come to the classroom, 31st of May, you are expected to bring your second essay, okay? Okay? Okay. So, and then this is the title, Understanding My Everyday Life in an Environmental Sociological Perspective with the examples of 3 manufactured products. And this one is a 13-point board Times New Roman. And this is also should be 13. And all the rest is a 12 Times New Roman and double spaced. 2줄, right? 2줄. And all the rest should be 00, but then here is the double space, 2줄. And then your essay looks like, as I showed before, looks like this, about 10 to 11 pages. And when you submit your essay to me, I ask you to print it double page it, right? Double page it, like me. All the time I do the double page printing to save the paper, to save the trees. Okay. So when you finish 3,000 words, your paper becomes like either 10 or 11 pages, and you include bibliography. So what kind of documents, what kind of things you refer to, what kind of things you look for, what kind of things you assess to construct your ideas for writing the second essay. So including bibliography, your second essay should be all made within 3,000 words. Okay, any questions?
How many sources do we need and what format of bibliography should be in?
How many sources? But I would suggest between 7 to 10. Between 7 to 10.
And which format of bibliography, like APA, MLA, anything?
Just any other person understanding class question? She's asking what kind of format to present the bibliography, because there are several different formats to follow bibliography. I ask you to you refer to any journal article or any book. For example, if you go to the Wiley Dunlop's article, if you go to the bibliography, shall you go to, okay. If you go to the, can I? Mm-hmm. If you go to the page 48 of the William Catton's and Wiley Dunlop's article, there's a reference, okay, and they put the name first, and they put the middle name also, but we do not use middle name. We just put the first name and last name. They put the middle name also, you know, and then publication date, and then the research paper title. We followed this one. This reference style.
Is it MLA or?
I don't know. Is it APA? What is it? I have no idea.
I'm not like too sure. I think it would be APA because that's the most common.
APA is what is the standard? Yeah, American Social Science.
It's the like American
Psychological
Association.
Right? Yeah. There's some specific editing format, but I ask you to follow the format in the Catton's and Dunlop's paper, so that you pay more attention to this paper. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. So you can be more keenly, aware of the organization and contents, so on and so on. It's a very good opportunity, very good chance, So So to follow the reference style which made in this Captain's Donner's paper. Okay, any other question? How to write the two essays for this environmental social course? Any other questions? Okay.
Can you use sources from non-academic?
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Non-academic. That's fine. Yeah. Non-academic. That's okay. Yeah. That's okay. So be punctual. Trying to be punctual on the submission date, because if you submit, we are not finished yet. We have still time. You know. If you submit late, to make it equal with the people who submit on time, the probably reduction for your scores. You know, so trying to be on time. You know, and after I reading all your essay, I'm marking, and then providing some comments, and I return to you probably. The second week, the 1 week prior to the final term exam, I distribute them all. So you can get what I found in your essays, so on. Okay. Any other questions for the first summary essay, the second research paper essay? Sangmin, do you have a question? Make like a fish face, like. Do you have a question for the essay writing? You don't have. So you are very clear with what to do. Okay. Liwi, Lo, you. Do you have any other questions? No. Okay. So we have 15 minutes left. No, because and as I announced last week, we have some time to introduce to each other. Okay. Okay. So to spend 15 minutes, we'll have time to introduce to each other, because we already 1 month finished and we're beginning the second month, and I just felt that probably good to know each other well, particularly preparing the session, the round table discussion week. The 1 week prior to the final term exam, we'll have some roundtable discussion. So, and preparing for that, I felt that I consider that probably much better to know each other, rather than just one person next to so on. So, who to begin first? Who to begin first? Who? Sunseok? Okay. Please. You can stand up in the middle of the here, and then to show your face to everybody, like me. Don't be shy. Okay. No, in English. So okay.
Hi, my name is Cha-Sun-seok, and this is my last semester. I'm happy to see you guys. Thank you.
Okay, Sunseok. Okay, Sunseok. I consider he's a senior among the, in our class, in my class. Damaris.
Hi, my name is Damaris or Damaris. I'm from the USA. I live in the state of Pennsylvania. I am a sophomore and I'm a psychology major with a sociology minor.
Okay.
Nice to meet you guys.
Killa.
I feel like people know me already, I'll be honest. I'm from Australia. I study international relations and Korean language, and I'm in my last year of university.
Okay. 지식.
Hi, my name is In Ji-sik. Ji-sik means on the spot, my name means wisdom plenty, and I live in Engam.
강남?
Engam.
아,
Nice to meet you guys.
오케이. 리나?
Hi everyone. My name is Lena. I am from New York and I'm a sociology major with a minor in anthropology. Nice to meet you all.
연아? 현아? 오케이, 현아.
Hello, my name is Yuma or Hannah, and I'm a junior of the department.
오케이, D?
Hello everyone, I'm an exchange student from China and my Chinese name is Xue Di. It's hard to pronounce.
You say.
So you can call me Di or Dina. I'm majoring in sociology and I will stay here for 1 semester or 2 semesters. I'm not sure yet. Yeah,
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, nice to meet you. Okay, 상민. 상민 comes from natural science department, not from social science, humanity.
Hi, my name is Park Sang-min. My major is ecological engineering in Korea University. Nice to meet you.
Okay, 선영.
Hi, my name is Hanya. I major in English literature and I double major in sociology. Nice to meet you.
Okay. 정인.
Hi, nice to meet you guys. I'm from English literature also, and my minor is sociology.
Okay, welcome. Okay, 지우.
Hi, my name is Minju and I'm in sociology major, junior. Nice to meet you.
Okay, 호빈. You can make a longer presentation, but it's like a.
Hello, my name is Lee Ho-bin, and I major in sociology, and I am junior. I am very interested in environmental sciences or environmental sociology.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Rachel.
My name is Rachel. I'm from New York. I'm a double major in psychology and sociology, and this is my last semester.
Okay. 현직. 순직. 현직. Okay, 현직. And your brother is a 전직? No, sorry. It's a joke. That's the good way to memorize your name, right? Okay. I will never forget your name.
I agree that.
Okay, sorry if I.
Hi everyone, my name is Hyunjik. I major in society. I'm very interested in environment, of course, and labor rights or feminism, etc. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Okay. 세원, you had a lot of laugh when I mentioned your brother name is 전직,
Hi everyone, my name is Mark, and I am a senior and I major in sociology, and I guess this class would be my last sociology class in my university life, and I'm double majoring in international studies, and I guess that's pretty much it. And this is my first time learning about environment, so this is quite all new for me, so I'm interested.
Okay. 세원 Junior. We have two 박세원 here, right? Yeah. And they chose the same topic. Whoa.
Majoring in sociology, sophomore year. Nice to meet you.
Okay. Oksana?
Hi everyone, my name is Oksana and I'm from Kazakhstan. I'm junior and I'm majoring in media and communication. Yeah, so nice to meet you all.
You are from Kazakhstan?
Yes.
How long have you been in Korea?
For 4 years.
4 years. Okay. You are exchange student?
No, I'm an international student.
You're international. Okay, okay. Camilla?
Hi everyone, my name is Camila and I'm also from Kazakhstan. I have been living in Seoul for almost 4 years and I major in economics.
Okay, okay, welcome. Okay. How long does it take by plane from here to from Seoul to Kazakhstan?
7 hours.
7 hours. Okay, okay. 진영? 진영? Sure, sure, yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, okay. 시영? As you like, okay.
My name is Kuocw. I interact nature and
Okay. Lee? Lee?
Also from Hong Kong. I'm majoring in translations and Korean studies.
In Hong Kong?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you speak Korean at all? A little bit. Okay, so we have some competition with Lina. Lina speaks Korean very well. Okay, Win Hai. Okay, Win Hai. Lee Hai. Yeah, I'm referring to you. Sorry? Okay, and then 풍첩? No. Oh? Okay. UNT. Okay, and 정인? 서정?
My name is Kuocw and my major is sociology and my double major is business management. Thank you.
Okay. 현석? 원석? Oh, okay.
Junior in Department of Sociology and a double major in International Studies. Nice to meet you.
Okay. 타냐?
My name is Tanya. I'm from New York. I'm a student and my major is psychology.
Okay. 지헌?
I'm Jihan, and I received the chance to camera. I think this is the first time that this camera is sociology faces around. I major in sociology, and this is my third year in Korean University, and I double major in Chinese literature, Chinese language literature.
Okay. 지헌, do you know, have you met them, the 풍첩 and Yuanting, and they're all from China? No? You can practice your Chinese with them. Oh? Okay. Why not? And sorry, I forgot your name. Sorry, 지우. 원영. Okay.
My name is Wanya, and I'm a junior at Sociology Department, and I'm also studying fashion design and merchandising as my second major.
Great. I can feel that you study fashion. I can feel. And then Viri. Sorry, Viri.
Hi, I'm Viri, and I'm from Singapore.
Okay.
I study sociology and political science.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, nice to meet you. And G1, right? G1, okay. I know G1, okay.
My name is Jiwon, and I'm a junior in the Department of Sociology. And nice to meet you.
Okay. Anybody have not done yet? All done? All done? And you. Sorry, you are the last one.
Hello, my name is Yoon Hee-jin, and I'm Korean, and I majored in sociology.
Okay. Those ones sitting next to Lee, maybe you are the last person to introduce. Okay. Okay. So thank you very much. Welcome all my environmental sociology course again, and we'll study very hard from next week. Okay. That's all for today.